All right, so I am super pumped because I have heard so many incredible things about the girl that you're going to hear from tonight. And I just first, before we even get started on how awesome she is, I want to tell you guys how awesome you are because it is Monday night. For those of us on the East Coast, 9 o'clock. For those of you on the West Coast, 6 o'clock. Some of you in the between. And the fact is that there are tons and tons of temptation and things that you guys could be doing besides being on this call. And this call is about developing your tribe of leaders. And one of the most important things about being a leader is being the person that shows up for your team, leading them by example. And none of us on this call, Kacia, myself, we don't have to be doing this. We choose to do it because we want to be great leaders and we want to be an example for our team. And so I just want to shout you guys out because it's really cool that you do show up and that you make this a priority because it's not very often in the world, in any job, that you're going to have the best of the best, people that are succeeding at the highest level, just pour into you and share every bit of content that they possibly can to help you succeed. That's the awesome, amazing, unique thing about this type of business. And Kacia posted on her Facebook before this call talking about being a river versus a reservoir. A reservoir holds water, keeps all the content to themselves, and they worry about running out. A river just constantly runs, and it pours that information to other people. And that's what all the great leaders of this entire Bombshell Dynasty do. It's the reason I believe that sets our team apart from the rest. So I just want to thank both her and all of you guys for being here. It means a lot. So let's talk a little bit about her because she is about 17 months in the business. So we're talking like a little less than a year and a half. And in that time, she's become a Success Club 10 All-Star, which means she had a minimum of 12 months consistently in Success Club 10, and did not settle for Success Club 5 because all great leaders aspire beyond status quo, right? So she's a 7-star diamond in her first business center, a star diamond in her second business center. And we talked a little bit before the call, and she was saying that her passion is developing a tribe of leaders. And I said, oh my gosh, that's exactly what these people need to hear from you, especially being a newer leader, because I think people often compare themselves to developed leaders, people that have been in this business, 3, 4, 5 years, and think, well, I can never get to where they are. So I thought it was really cool that she wanted to speak on that. And I'm so excited. I am here with my notepad ready to take notes, and I'm not going to take up any more time. I want to go ahead and have you jump on. I will jump off, and we can confirm. We can all see and hear you, and we'll be ready to soak it all in. So, Kacia, take it away.
All right, can everybody hear me and see me? Okay, perfect. I lost down for a second too, but now we're rocking and rolling. So, Lindsay, thank you so much for the intro. It's incredible to get to have this opportunity to speak with all of you on this call tonight and talk about what my real passion is, which is developing leaders. And I'm just really excited. So, let me first give a little bit of background for those of you that don't know me. My name is Kacia, and I like to say that I'm a former yo-yo dieter, party girl, turned healthy balance enthusiast. That's a really fancy way to say that my background is I grew up with my parents got divorced when I was 3, and I grew up with my mom. She waitressed, and she was really like she's super vivacious, but she was really into like a quick fix mentality. Like there's a lot of Hollywood juice cleanses in our house, and cayenne pepper, lemon, all that stuff. So I grew up like diet was a very common term in our house, and I mean, I didn't have a negative body image, but I didn't feel super, super confident. But luckily, I played sports, and I didn't really worry too much about it. But then I got to college, and some of you can probably relate to this. I had my party girl stage, and I put on about 15 pounds in college, and I kind of wrote it off as like, oh, I'm the fun, outgoing one. I don't really, it's okay if I gain a couple pounds. I'm still going to keep going to happy hours and doing all of that crazy stuff. So what really happened that got me involved with Beachbody, I think it's important to understand kind of how I got to this place. You guys can see how this has kind of evolved over time. But basically what happened is I was sitting on my back deck. I'm from Seattle originally. And for those of you that aren't familiar with Seattle, sometimes it actually doesn't rain. So I was sitting out with two of my best friends that I lived with at the time in my bathing suit and just tanning on our back deck. And I remember the feeling like it was yesterday. I just had this like feeling in the bottom of my stomach, like, why am I so uncomfortable with myself? And how did I get to this point? Like, we graduated and I was working in the corporate world and I had this great job, but like, I was so unhappy with where I was at with myself. And I think it was a big reality check. So, what happened is I went to bed that night into my room and had one of those crying moments where I cried myself to sleep and I ordered P90X offline at about 3 o'clock in the morning. And it's funny because my coach is Brigitte Linford, and I actually had never talked to her, never met her. I didn't know any Beachbody coaches. I actually was just following her on Instagram because I liked her quotes. I really didn't know much about her story. I didn't know anything about her as an individual. But when I actually bought my program, P90X, I saw that there was a little line like, do you have a coach? Like I said, I didn't know much about the opportunity itself, but I knew that she was a coach. So I figured if someone's going to get commission, it's going to be this girl because I like her. And I didn't know her, like I said. So, of course, she reached out to me on Facebook. And we connected there. She asked me to be in one of her challenge groups, and I said no. I don't know. I thought Beachbody was sketchy or something, but I really liked her. And I still obviously stayed connected with her and kind of saw what she was doing. I started doing P90X. For those of you that are familiar, on Thursdays, it's 90 minutes of yoga. And I basically kind of just like dropped the ball then. I was like, I am not doing 90 minutes of yoga before I go to work. No, thank you. So I reached back out to Brigitte and I said, hey, okay, whatever this challenge group thing is, whatever you're doing, I want to do it too. She explained to me about Shakeology. I signed up as a discount coach because I figured, hey, if I like this, like the ingredients look amazing. If I love this stuff, I want to be a discount coach because, I mean, who doesn't want to like save money, right? So I told her, don't talk to me about the business. I don't want to build the business. At the time, I was working as a project manager at an engineering company in Seattle, and I loved my job. I just like loved the direction my career was going, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but I'm not a health coach, and I don't want to be involved with it. And luckily, Brigitte was incredible. It didn't push me. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be sitting here today. But eventually, I loved the camaraderie of her challenge groups, and I decided like, oh well. I mean, this could be a fun little side thing. I wasn't super passionate about my job, so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this as a fun side thing. So I ran my very first challenge group last January, so January of 2014. And it was amazing. I loved it. And I loved just like the feeling of like getting to help people. You guys know the feeling if you run challenge groups. I was just so passionate about that part of it. But again, I still really saw it as a side, like fun hobby. I really saw it that way until my boyfriend, Tina, and I went to Summit last year. And I really just sat there in the audience. And for those of you that just went to Summit, you can probably relate to this feeling, especially if it was your first Summit. You're sitting in the audience and you're just watching these people on stage and you're just watching like everyone is so cool and from all different walks of life. And I was like, what the heck? Like I can totally do this too. I can definitely do this. And I remember the exact moment looking over at Tina and I was like, I'm going to be on that stage next year and I'm going to have a team and I'm going to do this as my full-time job 2 years from Summit. That was the plan. I was going to give it 2 years. So after Summit, last year we moved from Seattle to New York. My boyfriend is a full-time student at NYU Dental School, and I started working at Google. And again, the plan was 2 years. I'm going to build this business, and I'm going to do it like in the cracks of my day. I couldn't really work on it while I was at work, so I would do it early in the morning and late at night. But my plan was like, I don't care how long it takes me. Like I see the freedom that's in the future. I will freaking work my butt off. Like no one is gonna stop this train of like hustle. I was ready to go. So that was my plan. I was gonna build this business and I was gonna do it however long it took me. And a lot of things kind of happened along the way that I'm gonna explain to you guys of how we developed our team. And I really saw that my passion wasn't in health and fitness. I work with Beachbody and I'm not super passionate about working out, but I am very, very passionate about helping people build a life by design and helping people build whatever their dream, looks like with this business. And I just saw so many different ways you could build this. So that was my passion and that's what drove me. I ended up quitting my job at Google in April of 2015 and April 10th. And it was a big day. I remember telling my manager, like, I've got to do this. I'm sorry. And she was like, hey, if you want to come back, we'll hire you back. And I was like, I'm never coming back. I mean, I loved it. I loved Google, but I was like, no way. Like, once you get a taste of what this can be like and be my own boss, I was like, nope, see ya. And then I'm explaining the timeline a little bit just so you guys can see kind of where some ahas came in. The entire month of June, my boyfriend had off from school, and because I could work anywhere, we traveled all around Europe. We got to go to Italy and France and Amsterdam and had this incredible trip. And that's really what made me realize even more so, like quitting my job was one thing. And it happened so much quicker than I anticipated that I almost felt that feeling like when you set a goal for yourself and then it happens and you're like, oh, okay, I just did that. Now what's next? Like, what do I do next? That happened quicker than I anticipated. So what I learned there was I've got to have another goal. I have to have something that I can think about every single day. So if you guys are like me in any way, know that about yourself. Know what drives you. And for me, it was like I had to have something that I could visualize. I had to think, what's it going to feel like when I wake up on a Monday morning and I have no alarm clock? And I literally wrote it on my whiteboard, and I was like, it's going to be so awesome. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to work in my flannel or whatever I want. Like, I'm just going to hang out and work wherever I want. So I thought about that all the time. And after I quit, I didn't really have a goal next. So the actual couple months following that, I kind of tried to figure out what that was going to look like, what my next goal was going to be. And then I realized when we were backpacking that I just want to do anything in my power to help as many women in particular, guys too. There's definitely guys on our team, but my sweet spot is women that are working corporate jobs. And I was like, I'm going to help as many freaking women as possible that want to do this full time, do this full time and make their dream lives. And that was my goal. And so basically that's where we're at now. And so my passion is truly about developing leaders. I don't want to create a bunch of people that are looking at me as like, Kacia, tell me what to do. That's not what I want to do. I want to create people that feel super passionate about their own sub teams of our larger team. And I want to create create leaders that really can focus on whatever their goals are with the business. There's leaders on our team that are really passionate about fitness. There are people like me that are more passionate about the business side. And I think it's really important to identify kind of what those things are. So I'm going to jump into that in just a second. Beachbody stats, because I know everyone likes to know that stuff. Success Club 10 All-Star, haven't been building for 24 months yet, but Success Club 10 is non-negotiable. I've personally sponsored 10 Lifetime Diamonds, one's non-personally sponsored, and now our team that in August of last year, so 11 months ago, had about 50 coaches, now has about 900. So it's grown tremendously, and I'm so excited to share with you guys a little bit more about kind of how this all played out. So developing your tribe of leaders. This is what we're going to cover tonight on the call. Who is a leader? The importance of knowing yourself and your coach's why. Creating a celebratory team culture. Getting over your desire to run the show. Seeking simplicity for duplication. And ideas to implement for your team. So I'm going to give you guys some like jot down notes, take a screenshot type of thing that you guys can take back and maybe implement with your team that makes sense for your culture. All right, so first and foremost, we're talking about leaders. I think that when you sign up as a coach day one, I don't care if you are a brand new coach, it's your very first team call, you don't have any coaches underneath you, you've never run a challenge group, it doesn't matter. You're a leader the day you sign up as a coach. You're on this call at, I'm Eastern Standard Time, 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. Like, you care about your business and you're a leader. So thank you for showing up and taking your business seriously. Your ability to lead by example, like being on this team call and being proof of the product and sharing your story. Your ability to lead by example and duplicate this business is going to create the foundation for you to have financial freedom for you and your family, if that's what you desire. And that's a huge thing for me. Like I said, my boyfriend's full-time student at NYU Dental School. He has zero income, so I'm completely supporting both of us in New York City with this business. So it's important for me. Financial freedom is important. It takes a lot of stress off of you, especially with big chunks of student loans. So I believe in the airplane mentality. You have to grow through what you go through. Everything that you do, if you feel like you're failing, you're doing something right because you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. So the difference between a boss and a leader is the boss says, go, 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 and a leader says, let's go, and brings everyone with them. So something that I ask myself, and I know that a lot of my leaders on my team and I talk about, is if my coaches did what I did today in my business, would they reach their goals? And I think that's important to think about. Like, especially when you're in this season like I'm in, where I'm in a rapid growth season. Like I'm trying to onboard new coaches, I'm trying to build up my team, and like we're really just building our solid foundation. As Lindsay mentioned, you know, I haven't been building the business for that long yet. So I always am thinking about that. Like, did I not do my personal development? Did I not do my workout? Like, am I not even doing my invites? Like, why did I not post on Facebook? I own it myself. Like, I need to show my coaches that this is what it's going to take for them to build their business. If they're telling me that they want to do this full time, and I'm like, yeah, do this full time, but I'm not going to show you how. I'm not going to be an example. Like, I feel like I'm dropping the ball. So I try my best to not drop the ball for my team. So this is hugely important, and this is one of my biggest passions in this business is knowing yourself and knowing your coaches why. So I think that, I mean, you've probably heard plenty of calls where we talk about personal development. Everyone preaches personal development. I will be the first to tell you that I did not think that I needed personal development. That maybe says something about the place that I was in my head when I first started this business. But I thought, I'm outgoing, like, I'm sociable, like, I love life, I'm so optimistic. I don't need personal development. I will tell you, I don't know how to lead a team of 900 coaches. You know, anyone, regardless of their tenure in this business, you don't know how to do it until you get there, right? So set yourself up by being proactive with your personal development and really learning yourself and learning, like, I would have never thought that I was an introvert. Like, I'm super outgoing. I'm the first one on the dance floor. But until I started to learn about, like, energy and am I an extrovert and I'm an introvert? How do I get my energy? How do I like to be led? Like, what times of day work best for me to build my business? Until I started to really know myself, I wouldn't have been able to be sitting here in this situation leading a team because I didn't know me. I didn't know how I was supposed to become the person that could lead a team. I didn't know how I was supposed to be a strong leader. So you've got to know yourself. And I will say, hands down, if I was not doing personal development, I would have quit. I would have quit this business. There's just no way I could have done it without personal development, especially during some of the major milestones. Like, I will tell you, and my boyfriend can attest to this, we listened to Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability, on repeat for like 2 weeks right before I quit Google because I was so like anxious. And for some reason, her voice, if you guys haven't listened to her, she's amazing. It just like soothes me. So another thing, these are some of the books that I would recommend in regard to leadership. I'm sure you can come up with lots of things, but I love John C. Maxwell and Personality Plus. This is an incredible book that talks about different personality types. If you don't know your coaches, it's going to be really hard for you to help them, right? Because I have a niche of coaches, right? Predominantly, my coaches are female between the ages of 25 and 35, and they're in corporate jobs and they want to leave their corporate jobs. That's a huge majority of my personally sponsored coaches, right? Like tracks like in that regard. But just because on paper we maybe look the same, our personalities couldn't be more different. There's such a wide variety of personalities on our team. And I think it's really important to know how to motivate and how to develop your coaches and how to help them, because some people are going to be motivated by incentives of like, hey, do this and all, like give you this cool prize. Some people are motivated by community. Some people want you like giving them goals and helping them. Like, you've got to kind of know your coaches. And on top of knowing your coaches, you've got to know your coaches' why. And I think sometimes, I guess I didn't really think about this until I was a little bit further along in the business, where I started to think about, okay, what is actually motivating them to build this business? And for example, I used a couple examples of coaches on my team that are these cute little pictures. And one of my coaches, Tana, she is a mom, and she told me about this story where she left her daughter, like with the babysitter or with the nanny, and she went to pick her daughter up, and her daughter, Hallie, started crying, just crying that she had to leave the nanny to go with Tana. And she told me about this story, and I don't have any kids yet, but my heart just like fell for her. I was like, I can feel your pain, and I can't even imagine what that would feel like. And that's her driver. That's what makes her want to build this business. She wants to be present with her family, right? It's just completely different than someone else's why. So two other coaches that I featured down there on the bottom is my coach Jackie and Amy, and both of them have this big why of just creating freedom for their life, that they can be present, they can fly around, they can go snowboarding in the middle of the day, they can go on airplane helicopter rides with their parents during the middle of the day. I mean, it's just completely different than what drives Tana, right? So I want to make sure that when I'm talking to them, I really am thinking about their why, and I'm thinking about why are they doing this? What is making them show up? My coach Kaylee, she's pregnant with twins, and her why is I want to be present with my kids, so I'm gonna put my hustle pants on and lay a solid foundation because twins are expensive, and I'm ready to rock. So I keep that in mind when I'm talking to my coaches, and I know when I have calls with my coach Amy, I tell her like, how cool is it going to be when you and Adam in the middle of a Wednesday are on a mountain snowboarding? Like, how incredible is that going to feel when you're just like sitting with powder on your butt in the middle of a Wednesday? And it's because you could work in the morning and then you could work in the afternoon or whatever you want. You design your life. So I think it's really important to tap into that so that you can really help motivate and inspire your coaches by really like showing you're not just a coach. You're not just one of my personally sponsored coaches, like add you to the list. No way. This business is a people business through and through. So if you do not show up for your coaches and identify their why, like it's going to be tough, right? It's going to be tough for them to feel like you really, really care about them. And this is one of my favorite quotes by Albert Einstein. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its entire life believing that it's stupid. So that sucks. Like recognize people are different, right? The way that my coach Brigitte motivates me is going to be completely different than how she motivates one of her other coaches. So it's important to tailor that and realize that everyone's different. All right. I think this is huge. And this is one of the reasons that I think a lot of teams that I talk to that are thriving is because of this celebratory, I really don't like that word, like a celebrating culture. Creating a culture of celebrating individual coaches' milestones within your business and within their businesses as they grow, not just rank advancements, right? For me, I think diamond is incredible, and that's a huge goal. But I want my coaches to be star diamonds, to be a leading organization. I want that diamond to just be like on their path towards freedom for whatever their goals are. I don't want them to be so focused on just hitting that rank. While it's incredibly important and a huge accomplishment, I think that celebrating all of the wins along the way so that the process towards building, towards reaching your goals is super exciting, and that keeps you hungry for life by feeling like you're celebrated all the time. We are big on our team on sharing posts into our team page. So we have a larger team page. My team is called Team Fit Foundation. We have a larger team page, and so often I see my coaches, which I love this, just sharing different people's posts like, oh, hey, did you see these two girls' transformations that they just posted? Let's all go give them some love, to give them more traction on their posts. Or one of my coaches, Tanya, or a coach on my team, Tanya, she posted like, I loved this income post that Brittany did. And, we're celebrating different posts, not just things that are rank advancement based, like just the little things like this was an incredible Shakeology post. And what we do, which I think is a good takeaway, I'm sure a ton of you guys are doing this, so this is not rocket science, but for those of you that maybe aren't doing this as much as you wish you would, I think it's pretty incredible to have examples of these too, especially for newer coaches. So what we do is under the Files tab, I'm showing you guys like you can see my screen, but under the Files tab, we put like challenge group announcement examples, Shakeology post examples, income post examples, coach opportunity examples, and we just link the Facebook links so that it's like, Jackie's examples, Kaylee's examples, Melissa's examples, whatever it is, so that people can see other different examples of Shakeology posts. And it's really nice for new coaches, especially when they start to build their business, that they feel like, oh my gosh, I have no idea how I'm going to post about this, and they can go back and reference some that other people had used. And it just makes it, it makes it really easy for newer coaches that they don't feel as nervous, because it's like, hey, this is some examples of other things that have worked for coaches, and we loved them. And the best part that I love the most is that I'm not the only one doing this, because like it takes time to catch on, right? I was definitely the person that was doing this at first. Like any of my coaches that are on the call right now can attest to this, that I would share. I was like, you guys, check out our girl and her Shakeology post. It was incredible, and like I would do that. But now my coaches are doing that too. And one of my coaches, Kacia, is like known for this. She's like the love and the glue of our team, and she just shares posts and like, did you guys see this transformation? And it's incredible, and it creates this culture where everyone feels appreciated and everyone feels like they get that love and recognition. And my favorite part about this business is like, you're not gonna, Lindsay Matway, Brigitte, like me, anyone that you can look at, you're not sitting here in this spot today like doing this as your full-time job or creating this financial freedom for you and your family. Like, you're not doing it because you did it by yourself. Like, this business doesn't work that way, right? It's not one of those sketchy businesses where we're like, hey, everyone come on board and I'm going to leave you off to just fend for yourself. It's not like that, right? I don't know why I keep doing this, but I mean, it's not like that. No one in this business is sitting where they're at today because they did it by themselves. You get to celebrate together along the way. It should be fun. It can be fun. You're gonna work your butt off, but it can be fun, and it should be. All right, this is a big one for me. Get over your desire to run the show. So you've got to empower your up and coming leaders and lovingly nudge. That's my little term there. Lovingly nudge your more tenured coaches to build their tribes. This is huge, especially as I started to see that I was attracting a lot of incredible leaders. And I was so grateful that I had so many coaches that were so gung-ho that I wanted to build this business and they want this incredible life and they saw the vision and they were in this together and we were like pioneers and we laid the framework for Team Fit Foundation and all of this stuff. Well, the thing is, I had to let go of that desire that like I was going to be the person that started this team, right? And no, I don't want to be the focal person. I don't want to be the only person that everyone's looking at me like, Kacia, what do we do, right? I mentioned that at the beginning, but I want people on my team that feel empowered to go build out their own teams. So I'm encouraging them, like, go build your own team page, like, show up for your team, do Zoom calls with your leaders, identify who your leaders are, and make sure that you're empowering them and pushing them forward. And I'll never forget a call that I had with one of my newer coaches who's just a rock star, Coach Ellie. And she was talking to me about this incredible idea she had about Facebook groups. She is a zookeeper, and incredible job, but she's a zookeeper and she's super passionate about fitness, but she's also super passionate about those people that are working in physically demanding jobs that they have health and fitness, and that's part of their life, not just, their day-to-day work. So she created this Facebook group that's like fitness for zookeepers, and she invited a bunch of zookeepers and told them to invite her friends, and it created into this like really, really awesome this really cool, awesome culture, a subculture. And when she told me about this idea, I was like, on a one-on-one call with her, I'm like, Ellie, that is amazing. Like, I've never thought about doing that. Like, incredible. You ask them all to invite people. It creates this huge community. I love it. I love it. I love it. I was like, will you post a video on our team page about this? And she was like, are you sure, Keish? Like, are you sure you want me to do it? Like, I mean, I'm a newer coach. Like, why don't you post it? And I was like, why would I post it? Like, it's your idea. You post it. And I'll never forget what she said to me right afterwards. She was like, I've never been in a job where someone took my idea and took it seriously and really thought that it was a good idea and encouraged me to be the one that like spoke about it to the team. And it just really hit me because I was thinking, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, it was her idea, posted in the team page. But there's so many opportunities that you have where it's easy. It would have been easier for me to make a video right then. I was sitting in front of my laptop, make a video, post it in the team page. It would have been easy for me to do that, right? I could have explained it. I could have said, shouted her out, said she had a great idea. Why not have her step a little bit outside of her comfort zone and make the video instead and post it on our team page, right? It just gives her that opportunity to really just step up and be a leader and, feel that feeling. And one of my coaches, Kaylee, I remember this picture right here. Oh, you guys can't see my little browser, but she's the cute little face at the bottom. She started her own branch off of Team Fit Foundation. A lot of my coaches have used the Fit Foundation name and kind of created their own sub branch. And I remember her just saying, are you sure I'm ready to build a team page? Are you sure I'm ready to be a leader? I don't know if I'm a strong leader. I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, okay, you're doing it. Sorry. Sometimes you got to give people the loving nudge. I was like, you're doing this. And I can't even tell you how much her business has exploded because she identifies herself as a leader and she shows that more because she knows it's important to be an example to her team. So encourage your coaches to step outside of their comfort zone and acknowledge that you can't run the show by yourself and you probably shouldn't. In fact, I know you shouldn't. Another example of this, I like to use examples because I think it will hit home with different people that can maybe relate to this more. But my coach, Kacia, she is Institute for Integrative Nutrition grad. So for those of you that are familiar with that, she has a great nutrition background. I have no nutrition background. I have no fitness background. But she loves talking about superfoods. This girl loves it. Why would I host a team call about Shakeology? Right? When this girl is pouring out information about how much she loves it, how much she loves Shakeology, and how everyone should drink Shakeology. Why would I do that, right? I mean, she should definitely be the person that does that. Get over your desire that you're going to do things perfectly and you should be the one that does it because you shouldn't. You should utilize your team's strengths. There's a reason, right? There's a reason that you have other leaders, you're attracting other leaders onto your team. Like, let them shine their light and let them go out there and be them and step up when they're a little bit uncomfortable. It's just going to create this tribe that people feel so excited to add value to others' lives, right? And it's like what Lindsay mentioned at the beginning that I posted on Facebook. It's the whole concept of being a river, not a reservoir. Like, who cares? Like, if you know all this stuff, if you just know this stuff and you sit there on it and you don't spread it out to other people, what good is it? You can know everything in the world, but if you don't talk about it or you don't empower other people to do it and you don't spread your knowledge to others, like, you're just sitting there and you're like the smartest person ever, just like sitting on your couch, right? Who cares? This is another thing that I think is huge, and I had a really big aha conversation when I was in Mexico for the Success Club trip with my coach Brigitte about seeking simplicity. And I've kind of thought about this a lot and really unintentionally made our team this way. Everything I do, I make a template. If I come up with a conversation where I have just word vomited like a crazy person, or I've done a post and I'm like, you guys, this like sucked. I just posted a picture of a wheatgrass shot. My face wasn't in it. This sucked. I will take a screenshot and I will share it with them because I want them to see like, hey, I messed up too. Like, mess up, whatever. I learned. Who cares? I'll fix it next time. I'm not gonna worry about it, right? How can I make this easier for my coaches to duplicate this? So this is the concept where every time that you sign up, like your upline coach that signs you up into this business, your goal is to make this easier for your coaches than it was for you because it's always evolving. Like Beachbody, think of the back office, you guys. Like the coach online office, it's incredible. Like we don't even use half of the resources that are in there. The business is evolving. Like it is completely changing. So your coaches should have an easier time building this business. Like when Lindsay started this, it was completely different than how it is when I started my business, right? It's just time has passed and things have gotten simpler. So make it easier for your coaches to duplicate. Everything that you do, you should share with your team, right? If you make a template or you run into a situation or you run into a problem, make it a lesson and grow through what you go through, right? So share it into your team page or share it with your leaders, share it in whatever way makes sense for you and teach them from what you learned from that experience. So everything I do, I put into like a Google Drive and I give the links to my team. I put every single template that I've ever made into my team. And then what I did is I made a coach training academy. For us, we run the coach training academies, which are 15 days. We run them on the first and third Monday of every month. I put my videos on YouTube and I share it with my team. And I'm like, hey, you guys are welcome to run your own, make your own videos, or just use this. Like, no need to reinvent the wheel. I think that just making everything that you do, just paying it forward, giving it to your team, just letting them soak it up and picking what they like, right? Because like I said, there's a lot of different personalities of coaches on my team. So some of the things that I do, like I'm quirky and awkward. Some people are super business savvy and focused. Like those people maybe might not like my weirdness. So tailor it and take what I did, take the work that I put in, tailor it to them and make it their own and they can use it. There's no need to create this uphill battle for your coaches to like reinvent the wheel because you're so proud of what you did. If you're proud of what you did, spread that love around, like shine your light all around and give it to people because that's really what's going to set you up for success in this business. You're trying to make this simple. And this is a thing that I've come to realize, like the further along in this business I get and the people that I'm attracting are the people that I was, right? When I first started, the people that are, the party girls that like gained a little bit of weight that are working a corporate job that know that they should be doing something more. They just have this feeling. They're like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing something more. Why am I sitting here in front of my computer working 9 to 5 every day? I hate this. Counting down the days till Friday. That's my target market. I know those people because I was one of those people, right? I was totally that person. So I want to make sure that I'm setting my coaches up for success. So as we know, I'm going to cut this into a short little pie here, or pie, whatever, piece. Basically, think about your challenge groups. Your challenge groups are your future coaches. So like I said, my target market is people that are working corporate jobs. I remember when I was working at Google, I was so incredibly busy. I just did not have the time to check in with my challenge groups all day long. So I remember that now that I have a more flexible schedule, I could totally just respond when someone comments in my challenge group and post their meal for the day or post their workout. I could respond right away, right? I could just have my phone and I could just be like sucked into the life of it and respond right away. Why would I do that? My challengers are my future coaches. These are often the people that are in the same situation that I was in. If I respond to them right away, I'm sending the message to them, if you're a coach, you're going to have to do this too. And they're thinking, there is no way that I can be on Facebook at work. There is no way that I can be on my phone as much as you're on your phone. Like, there's just no way I can do that. I'm stressed even thinking about it. I don't want to be a coach. I don't think I can do it. And think about the missed opportunity and all of the blessings that this could provide for them and their future family or current family from not signing up as a coach because of that. And once I realized that, I thought, wow, like, I'm not going to set, I want to make sure that my challengers, my future coaches know that they can build this business. Like, they don't have to have perfectly crafted posts. Like, sometimes I post something, I'm like, oh, why didn't I like change the filter? I could have given a filter. Why do I look so sweaty? Like, why did I do that? But then I'm like, no, it's real. It's me. And that's the kind of coaches that I want on my team. People that are just real and just putting it out there. So, as you guys know, this business is not always easy, but it is simple. It's very, very simple. So simple that I think that sometimes we try and make it more complicated just because it seems too simple. I love like messages that I get, what's the secret sauce? And it's really like, I'm learning. It's literally just consistency. It's those vital behaviors. You've heard it a million times, the things that are easy to do, but the things that are also so incredibly easy not to do. How easy is it to not do your workout? Let's be real. Come on. How easy is it not to do your personal development? How easy is it not to do those invites? Like, oh, it's only 2 invites. I'll just do them tomorrow. I'll just do 4 tomorrow. Oh, why didn't I do it tomorrow? I'll just do 6. No, just do it. The difference between someone who is sitting there that has reached their goals is they decided to do those tiny little things. They just did them consistently over time. That's the only difference between someone who has reached their goals and is working towards their goal and someone who's just starting, is they just haven't had the time yet. They just haven't had the time. So these are my ideas. These are some takeaways that could potentially help you or could, just depending on the culture of your team. These are things that work for our team that we really like. So I want to share them with you guys. So this concept, the diamond of the week, is actually a concept, I don't even know what coach I got it from. It's in The Wall, which is a Facebook group for 5-star diamond coaches and above. Someone shared this in there like a month or so ago, I don't know, 2 months ago. And I loved the idea, and we implemented it and tweaked it a little bit on our team. So what we do is we have our, our private Facebook group for our Team Fit Foundation coaches, which is our larger team page. And every week we now feature what's called a diamond of the week, which is just someone who, actually both of these girls that I use as an example are both star diamonds. So I feature them as the diamond of the week. And what they do is they have a little Facebook cover. So I changed the entire Facebook cover of our team page to them, just focus on them. I make a cute little collage and I post this on Monday mornings. And what they do is they post a 5-minute or less video Monday through Friday. And this is so that other coaches can connect with other leaders. Because again, like I told you, I'm trying to develop like strong powerhouse leaders. I'm not trying to develop a bunch of people that are looking at me like, Kacia, what do we do? Right? I want people to look at these girls who are inspiring me, who I'm learning from all the freaking time. I want them to look at them and identify them as leaders, our entire team. So what I do is, or what we do as a team, is on Monday, for example, they share a story of their why. It has to be less than 5 minutes because, as we know, as much as like they can have incredible stories, they, people don't want to listen to long videos. It just doesn't happen. Tuesdays, their biggest aha moment, what that was. Just a big aha moment they've had in this business. Wednesday, they give their three tips for new coaches. On Thursday, why is Success Club important to them? And what's a tried and true method for hitting Success Club? Because as we all know, Success Club is the foundation of your business. You've heard this a million times, but it is bringing new people into your business, and it's doing it consistently over time so you can build that solid foundation. On Thursday, I want to hear why they think it's important, because you would be surprised. People think it's important for different reasons. And if these coaches are a star diamond coach or a diamond ring coach, you got to believe they're hitting Success Club because they want to show their team what they can do to be successful, right? And on Friday, they do like a diamond choice video. So whatever they want to talk about and they think is really awesome. Like Kaylee talked about personal development, her growth from personal development and why it's so crucial. So we pin the video to the top of the page. It's working really well. I'm getting a ton of feedback, and it helps those coaches identify themselves and their strong leadership skills. It takes the attention off of me and it puts it on other people, because I can't even tell you how many messages I get from people in our team that are like, I can really relate with Kaylee and her story. And I'm like, heck yeah, she's freaking awesome. So it's a really great idea that has worked really well for us. I would highly encourage you. I wish I knew the coach that I took this idea from, but I can't remember what her name was. So I'll have to look that back up. Another thing that we do is, in terms of our structure, is we have a group that is called Fit Foundation Push for Diamond. All of my star diamond ring coaches and above also have this for their subdivision of our team. So before anyone that's a new coach on this call is like, oh, like this is too much, like this is getting into nitty gritty. It's cool. I think it will help for you because I learned this from Brigida. And what we do is we work with our coaches one-on-one to get them to Emerald. If they're building a business, I want them to go Emerald like stat, right? When I went Emerald, I sent my best friend and my boyfriend day one. I was like, Brigida, what do I need to go do to build a business? She was like, hit Success Club 10 and go Emerald. And I was like, done and done, girl. I'm going to do it. So what we do is you work with your coach to get them to Emerald. And as soon as they hit Emerald, we put them in this Push for Diamond group. And some people choose to check in with their business building accountability, right? So it's just like a challenge group that holds you accountable for your, for your fitness, but instead it holds you accountable for your business building. Some of my coaches love this. Some of my coaches never do this. Completely depends on the person. They check in with their personal development and AHA, proof, messages, Facebook, coaching, invites, whatever, whatever they want to do, whatever they want to check in with, and they check in with it just to hold themselves accountable. And I have seen tremendous growth for some of the leaders on my team by checking in with this and building this culture around doing that too. In addition, one thing that I love, on our team, we have a Fit Foundation leadership group, and this group is solely based off of just longevity in the business, their mindset, and it's a place for collaboration. It's not based off of rank. I have, 2-star diamond coaches in it, and I have emerald coaches in it that have long-term mindset. It's a group that I add people to, and we just collaborate in there, and we share ideas, and we talk about longevity in the business. We don't check in there. It's nothing like that. But it's a really great group that I feel like I have a bunch of success partners on my team, just people to identify with and bounce ideas off of. It gives me a place to share like awkward crying videos when I get really excited. So I would recommend having some kind of group like that where you get to collaborate with other leaders on your team. So that's a lot of information that I'm just spewing at you, and I know I'm giving you guys tons and tons of information, but hopefully there's some takeaways that you guys can implement with your team and that this is helpful. But you have one life to do everything you'll ever do. Act accordingly, right? So hopefully you guys had some takeaways. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for being here and spending your time with me tonight, and thank you, Lindsay, for this opportunity. Any questions? Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I always get really awkward reading these. I'm gonna start sweating, so I'm gonna stop recording. Thank you guys.